Hi guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. Well, I got more from today, so we get to watch that, but we don't have a verdict. Um, I'm gonna try to look it up, but you'll see. I'll show you. I'll show you now why we don't have a verdict. Oh, I should share my screen. So we get to see about an hour and almost 2 hours of content, and then they go to lunch. So he shuts it down for lunch, and I recorded for the next 7 hours. And he never brought the stream back up. The judge never brought the stream back up. I recorded for 10 straight hours while I was at work, and he took it down. John, there's no way I can do a 2 hour thing of OJ because nobody wants to see it. There's like 60 people that view it every day. So no, we gotta keep OJ where the OJ belongs. If more people were watching it, yeah, I would do 10 hours of OJ, but no one wants to see it, so no. We can see this crazy divorce case. We get to hear more about his businesses. Here we go.
Discounted rates to bands on our label for the studio. So the tracking and mixing and mastering. If a band is on our label, they get a discounted price for those services, which is how we get bands on our label. And then as a label, we produce studio income through the studio by signing bands to the label. Because
you say we, is there other owners?
Yeah, so I say we because there's me and my best friend Kellen, who's an engineer at the studio. He's 1099 contractor, and then there's also Josh Curl from one of the bands on our label who helps me do a lot of editing and stuff like that. So when I say we, I'm talking.
See if you guys can try to figure out his name or her name. It's like say right, but I don't know how to spell it and I can't find it. So see if you can figure out his name. Help me.
Talking about those people.
Do they have an ownership interest?
No, they have no ownership interest, no interest in the business. They're just friends that help.
Do you pay them any sums of money?
I pay Kellen, and this is the first year we've been able to do that. So this will be the first year that we'll have a 1099 with them.
Is all that information reflected in what you believe, documents you provided?
Mm-hmm. Correct, yes.
Keep going through the analysis as to the other business interests.
Yep, so, and then Dark Sales, we also do shows.
Before we move on, does that generate income on a monthly basis?
Dark Sales Entertainment? Yeah, it does through album sales. So we do sell physical media. We sell records and we sell CDs through Bandcamp and through other online outsources, Facebook, stuff like that. We make some income off of that, and that's the label's income. We also produce shows. So we'll put on concerts at different venues across Atlanta, Jacksonville, Tampa, Savannah, Alabama, Tennessee. We're pretty spread out with the venues at this point. We've networked pretty good. So we work with those different venues to produce shows where we have bands from Atlanta go out and play different areas around the region to try to get them more exposure. And so we do that as a service more than anything. So we make money at the show, but typically we only take back the expenses we had from the show, and then we give the rest to the bands, because the bands truly are the ones that are doing the most work, right? They're the ones who are the entertainment. They're the ones that are doing the show. So we believe that they should get the money.
And so how much do you estimate you receive an income from that?
I don't. It typically operates at a loss. We're actually, as soon as I can afford it, and I don't have all these legal fees, I'm actually going to look into making that a nonprofit business.
So what's your purpose in having these types of businesses if they're not generating?
So I came from early in my career. I wanted to be a musician, and I was very, very strong into that belief and wanted to do music. I quickly realized that it's not easy to do, and it's very hard to do. It's very hard to find quality studios. It's very hard to find labels to work with you. It's one of the hardest businesses I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of businesses in my career. Music industry is one of the toughest. And I chose early in my career not to go on with music and to continue on with the other part of my career. So I went the path that I did. And when I had a chance to come back around to music after, I had been successful and I had started establishing income and making money, I then had the ability to come back around and help others, right? So me and my best friend Kellen, who does this with me to some degree as a friend, we work together to produce the music at the studio and run the business as the label to help these bands and to help try to grow the music scene in LA.
So how long have you been operating these businesses?
We've been operating them since 2019 and 2021.
All right. And have you ever made income, or is it just something?
Yeah, it's made income. It just, the expenses are always outweighing the income.
All right. So are you intending on trying to grow that?
Good job.
Correct.
Good job.
I would like to grow businesses, especially the studio business. It has the most potential.
Do you have any, present documentation to show that you're going to absolutely be able to grow them? Anything that
There's nothing that says.
I found it. Thanks, Boss Chick. I found it. I found the case finally. And there's no verdict yet. There's no judgment yet.
I can. It's just, I publicize word. Music is hard. It's all about networking. It takes time. It takes networking. It's about who you know, and it's about who you contact with and who you work with. So if you want bands to come record with you, you got to go to their concerts. You got to friend with them. You got to network with them. You have to do all these things, man, before you even get considered to be a part of their musical creations, right?
So why don't you explain your other business venture?
Yeah. So my other business venture is Cardboard Addict DCS. So I took my passion for trading cards. I've always had a passion for trading cards, and I've always done a lot with trading card buying and selling. And so I finally decided that I wanted to make it a business, and decided that I wanted to get into the YouTube scene with unboxing videos. So I actually unbox the cards that I then take and sell on eBay. And it's just a cycle of buying and selling cards.
When did you start that?
I started buying the cards that were necessary for me to start the store and start building the inventory for a trading card store in September, October of last year. And then that branched into this year where I had pretty heavy expenses in January, February, March, as I was buying collections and buying cards to then turn around and either sit on. Hey, welcome to Cardboard Addict.
Say less, David. I'm gonna put the link of the video that I'm getting right here. I feel bad for this guy. So bad for this guy. I wish he was more aggressive with her. But look, you can all subscribe.
DCS, that's me, David Cody Satterwhite,
I know.
here with you today, opening up some Marvel Topps Chrome.
Let's go.
Trading cards. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. This is the last 2 boxes of a 10-box quest. We've been on a quest for Frank Miller sketch cards, along with a lot of other fun stuff. You can go online and find the list, or you can go watching this for
Yeah, we're gonna
the
read
10th,
through
11th,
this.
12th. There we go. All right. And let's get to ripping, because I know you guys are at a 50 haywire. First pack parallel. That's what I like. So they put the best card upside down in the front so that when you open the pack and you flip it over, you just found out what was in the pack. I'm going to slide it to the back right there. So that way we can, see what's in here first, and then we'll get to the good stuff. So there's Strong Guy, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, Nightcrawler, and we got Juggernaut, which is pretty sweet. He's a sweet character. And then we got Mr. Fantastic, 11/99. Mr. Fantastic, 11 out of 9.
You go, sir, with your unboxing videos. I love unboxing videos. You're doing great. You're doing great. Now, stop giving this woman any money.
For a little bit to turn around and sell later on, or sit on to do other things with. And those expenses from, like I said, January, February, March kind of ramped up. And then we saw revenue for the first time with that business in March.
How much revenue did you get?
$3,800 so far.
Who's we?
Me. It's me. Sorry. I was used to talking like that from a business perspective.
So how much cards do you own? I mean, what do you think the value of it that you have?
Yes, I know what the value is, right? So on eBay, I know what my eBay store is worth. My eBay store is worth $20,000. And the cards that I have in inventory are probably worth another 10.
All right. And so are you willing to share the value of that with your wife?
I mean, if she wants, I'll give her some Mickey Mouse cards. That's what they are. They're Disney trading cards.
And so
it's just a joke.
What's your position as to settlement? I mean, did you make an offer? Did that include what you consider to be valuation of that to your wife when you were making your past offers?
Yeah, it's part of the collectibles because the magic cards are gone. You know, the magic cards that they believe are worth $80,000 got liquidated. And
why and when? Why don't you explain?
Yeah, they got liquidated when I was living with my friend Brent. As I was starting to ramp up costs for moving into my own apartment, and legal fees were starting to come through, other expenses were coming through. So I needed the cash to get through that period of time. So I liquidated most of my magic cards to a company called Card Conduit. I want to say it was June, July. I can't remember. But we gave the transactions to the lawyers. I do remember that because I had to dig through my receipts to find it all.
All right. Do you have thousands of dollars just sitting in checking accounts?
No, I have.
Why don't you explain how the movement of money in your accounts?
Yeah. So basically I get paid into our joint checking account. I then have to take tax money out of that payment and move it to a tax account. And then if I have money left over, I'll move it into our savings, but typically I don't. Usually I'm taking from savings back into the checking month over month. And then when I get bonuses or I get distributions, I put that into savings. And then as I have to, I withdraw from that into the checking account to pay the month to month. Because typically the month to month runs more than I have coming in.
And why have you not, have you filed your 2024 tax returns?
No, I don't file tax returns until October every year because the K-1 statements that I get from work don't come until June, July, or even August sometimes. I think last year we got them in August. And so we have to file an extension every year and do our taxes later in the year. All
right. So do you agree with the experts' analysis that your combined income is around $30,000 on average? Do you agree with that?
On average, correct.
And so I'm going to show you Exhibit 8. I don't think this has actually been entered into evidence yet, so I'm going to move to Admit 8. That's his financial affidavit. This is dated. This is his most recent. It was dated post-report, but it was dated May 7th, 2025. We sent it to opposing counsel after we obtained the report. I attached various schedules. Some have already been admitted into evidence. The others are their demonstrative exhibits showing spending. Actually, I think all of these have already been admitted. These were the spreadsheets yesterday showing the various expenses. So just move to admit father's domestic relations affidavit, Exhibit 8. And then Exhibit 9, these were all shown to the expert, but I don't think they were actually moved into evidence yesterday. This is the Exhibit 9 is the March 26, 2025 deposit into the USAA account of the bonus for $117,298. So I'll just move to admit those, and I'm going to ask him some questions on this.
No objection, Judge. They're on the record.
P8, P9 are admitted.
All right, so I'm going to show you, before we move back to your checking account information, Exhibit 9, is that your latest bonus?
Correct.
And how often do you get bonuses on average?
I get them annually.
Okay, are they guaranteed?
They're not guaranteed. And it may look confusing to opposing counsel because I used to get paid them twice a year. In earlier years, I would get paid 20% of my bonus in March, and then I would get paid the remaining bonus in December. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. 20% in December and the remaining in March. And they changed that to just get everything in March. So it may look funky over 23, 24, 25 because that changed.
And I'm going to show you now Exhibit 8. This is your financial affidavit. Do you see on the first page where it says $39,341 is your gross income?
Correct.
All right. And so why did you list your income at $39,341 when the expert says your income's at $29,000?
Yeah, we cushioned it up to accommodate for any business expenses, anything like that, anything that they might throw at me to say, hey, you should have increased it or done that. I went ahead and padded it up for that because I figured
Dude,
that the
no.
opposing counsel would probably argue with $30,000 because they had already said the other DRFAs that said that my income was like 40 something.
All right. So are you trying to be
Outstanding.
I'm
transparent?
trying to be transparent. I'm trying to be fair, and I'm trying to represent my income as fairly as I can.
All right. And what did you do with your bonus in March? Because before I do that, you were aware that a motion, attorney's fees was incurred related to that bonus.
Correct.
What did you do? Can you just walk us through what you did with that?
Yeah, so I took that bonus and put $50,000 roughly against the Chase Marriott card. I paid legal fees.
So on the Chase Marriott card,
Mhm.
what's being used? What's being put on that card?
It's a bunch of things. So I used that card for the Start a Cardboard Addict, and I also used it for legal fees and other expenses, trips, things like that. So it got used for different things.
Did your wife use that card?
No.
What?
Well, she did. I take that back. She did use it to charge legal fees that I gave her permission to do, and I gave her the information for the card to do that. So she used it one time, maybe twice to do that.
All right. So are you aware of the allegation that you just blow money?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think you spend more money than your wife? Why don't you discuss your comparison of your spending versus your impressions of your wife's spending?
Sure. So, I mean, I spend a lot of money on the businesses, getting those things started and getting them going. But when you look at day-to-day expenses, I don't spend nearly as much as she does. And we have 3 years of proof of that through the American Express cards, where there's almost a $80,000 difference.
Well, I think I don't know if we've covered all your businesses yet, so I don't want to move on yet. But what about
Hi, Nicole. Did he just say that woman who doesn't work a day in her life spends $80,000 more than he does on his cards? What? How? Come on. I feel like we're all being trolled in this court right now.
this? Is there any other business? Have you described everything?
That's everything.
All right. So are you aware that last week opposing counsel sent my office over 100 individual files to download as to new discovery? Are you aware of that?
Yes.
All right. And so if opposing counsel brings up 100 documents of things that she found online, would you be surprised, or is there anything that would contradict what you're?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Or is any of your businesses profitable more than what the expert was describing, in your view?
Nope.
I'm going to show you Exhibit 26. This is a collective document. This was actually marked and handed to opposing counsel at a prior hearing when we showed up on their motion, in a pretrial conference defending against their request to take your bonus.
I wish the judge could sentence her to get a job of service somewhere.
Ticket trust of attorneys or the court registry. But Exhibit 26, these are collective documents as to, I guess, various expenses you paid with the bonus. I just want you to walk us through it and explain what it is. Before we do that, have you been going on exaggerated trips?
I took my kids so we have timeshares, and I used those timeshares because they weren't getting used. So I used those timeshares to take my kids to Disney over Christmas and New Year's. I am, because I use them. I like them. They don't bother me.
You're willing to pay all the costs for
I'm
them?
willing to pay the cost for them. I'm willing to use them. I know Samantha hates booking them and keeping up with them and working with them.
We'll go back into your.
But we went on the trips with the timeshares. Now, one of the trips was paid for by my work. It was a reward trip that I got for performance 2 years ago, but that you get it like a year after. And so that was a trip that we went on to Mexico And the plane tickets were reimbursed for that. So the plane tickets show up on here, but they were reimbursed by my.
Well, when was this? Why don't you do each trip, like when they were?
That was April of 24. And then I went to Aruba in July with our timeshare. Went to Vegas with our timeshare and work. I can't remember what month. It was August maybe.
Were any of these work related? Which ones were work related?
Yeah, Vegas was work related. Mexico was work related. Aruba wasn't. Thanksgiving, we went to Florida for a week.
Who's we?
Me and my girlfriend and her kid. Went down to Florida for a week for Thanksgiving to use the timeshare.
Are you aware?
It wasn't like I was spending thousands and thousands of dollars on Airbnbs and stuff like that. I mean, we were using timeshares.
All right. And so you're aware, do you know if your wife is taking the children on vacations that you paid for?
She has. They went to Alabama, one of the coast of Alabama, from one of the beaches, Orange Beach, I think. And I know they went to Dollywood a few times, but she asked me if they could, and I told her they could. I mean, I wanted the kids to have fun and do something for the summer, not just with me, but with their mom as
It's all
well.
post-separation.
It's all post-separation.
Does she do other events with them, like Georgia Aquarium or anything?
Yes, they go to the aquarium, they do stuff. I mean,
You don't have a problem if she charges that? And these are cards that you pay for?
the cards I pay for.
Um,
Yeah, this is an expense report for my job where these flights were reimbursed through my work. That's what these exhibits are
Okay.
showing.
All right, so those documents, so what do you believe those should be considered to show the court? Just,
So this document, I mean, what this is where we went to Mexico with my work and I paid for her airline ticket and then they reimbursed me for that expense.
all right.
Yeah,
Any
so
other
it just shows that I
receipts?
didn't, I didn't pay for that. My work did.
All right, any other documents in there? Is it all?
I think it's all that.
All right.
These Delta receipts are long.
All right, let's move to mid.
Yeah, I think that's all it is, Chris.
What exhibit number is it?
P26.
No objection.
It's admitted.
Judge, if you need a hard copy.
No, that's fine. You just leave them over there.
So do you know, so how many credit cards do you have? Why don't you walk us through do you still have your financial affidavit? Let me hand that to you.
I don't. I'm pretty sure I know them. I got my Chase Marriott card. I have my Chase United Explorer card. I have my USAA credit card. Have my American Express Delta Platinum.
So I'm just gonna, if we all wanna, so in your
Sure.
financial affidavit, there's no balance.
I mean, you should say the numbers of those cards just so that we get the full picture and the little code on the back, expiration date.
I think your reference C report.
Well, the balance changes on it like very, very frequently because I'm paying on it and spending on it. So
So what I want you to do is to walk us through each debt you have listed on that back.
That's her. Thank you so much. Thank you.
okay.
And that covers all of your creditors other than the mortgage.
Yeah, so the Chase credit card 9772, that's the Chase Marriott card. It has a balance of like 40,000 right now. The American Express has a balance of around 22. The Delta Reserve card and Delta Sky Miles Platinum card, that's the one that we jointly use. Probably has around 22,000 on it. It'll get
Did the
paid.
witness identify by account number because I believe.
I don't
there's-
have the account numbers right here.
Okay. I just believe that there's multiple American Express or Chase, so I just want to be,
So I think it's 3017 and 82001 are the last four digits.
Are you willing to take the balances on every single one of those cards?
I am.
You don't, Do you want anything in consideration for that?
I'd like to be, I mean, I would like for the fact to be considered that I'm making a large
taken
payment
care
against
of.
a lot of these credit cards. Some of it's business and some of it's not, right? Some of it is the lawyer fees and taking the kids out and doing things with the kids and going on vacation with the kids and stuff like that. It's not like it's just all, wasteless business spending or something. It's not.
Do you have an issue with the 20,000 attorney's fees that was just charged by your wife's attorney?
I do.
Do you like a consideration of reimbursement of that?
I would.
All right. So it's my understanding as part of the equitable division that you're asking this court to do is you're willing to take all the debt,
Correct.
reimbursement of some attorney's fees.
Correct.
And would you like to have consideration of that for alimony or
I would.
division of assets?
I would.
Are you asking the court to, as part of the order, prohibit her from using the credit cards moving forward, however?
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Are you willing? We'll come back to
She didn't like that.
questions to that regard. So you heard your wife testify yesterday that she believes you have been paying for her college tuition on the card, on one of the cards.
Correct.
Are you fine with that being an exception to her using a card, or would you be willing, for example, if she just tells you what the costs are moving forward, you pay it until she gets her degree?
I'd rather just get the bills and pay them myself.
But are you okay with that, asking as part of alimony?
Part of alimony, I would be okay with paying for school. Yes.
All right.
Assuming that she doesn't transfer to Harvard or something like that, right? Where it costs me an obscene amount of money.
Oh, honey, you ain't got to worry about that happening.
So let's talk about the mortgage and the house. Okay, what are you asking this court to do about the house? And before I ask that, let me
Graphic
rephrase that.
designer.
You have the ability to just write a check to pay off the mortgage.
I don't.
I mean, so what's your, do you believe it's necessary to get your name separate from her on as to the debt that's attached to the house?
I do, because I need to be able to refinance the house I live in now with my girlfriend to put my name on that house. And I won't be able to do that with my name tied to the current house. I don't believe. However, I really don't want to sell the house because I want the kids to grow up there. It's near her family. It's part of her family's land. I'd like for the house to stay with her. I'd like for the house to stay with the family. But if we can't come to an agreement on how it's going to be paid for until it can be paid off, then we have to sell it.
Do you have a ability to liquidate any other assets to pay off the mortgage?
No.
What's your?
Yeah, it would be a wasted attempt to try to liquidate off my music equipment to try to sell that. It wouldn't be, the bank would not be worth the buck on that one.
What's the balance on the mortgage?
287.
Or we actually have a current printout. I'll come to that.
It's 287 and some change, 288 rounded up.
And so you saw the spreadsheets that's already been admitted into evidence, exhibits 53 and 52, that was admitted yesterday as to spending of you and your wife on an American Express card. I'm just going to show you this again. To review all these spreadsheets with me, my office, and
Correct.
myself, you believe this is an accurate summation of all the categorizations of spending by your wife? I'm looking at exhibit 53,
Yes.
and then yours as well. 54, do you think that's an accurate characterization of your spending habits? Yeah, exhibit 54.
Yeah. I've seen it. Yep.
Do Do you have, what problems, if any, do you have with your wife's spending since separation?
There's a lot of Amazon on there. I mean, it's a lot. We're definitely keeping Amazon in business in North Georgia. But not sure, other than that, there's the legal or the counselor fees are really high. Those are on the Amex. Those are $1,300.
Just to recap about the counselor fees, we got 2 children. One of them is 4 years old and has been in counseling for 2 years now at $2,000 a month. What did he say? 2,000 a month? I don't know. Maybe 2,000 a month is total for everybody. He pays for both of the children's counselors and her counselor. And she won't get any of them in network that his insurance will cover because she only wants this counselor for the 4-year-old who was 2 when they started counseling. And he's been paying thousands a month since 2023.
Or $1,400 a month. Plus her counseling is another, call it $300 a month, $400 a month.
Yeah, so the 2,000 was everybody
The
total.
withdrawals,
a
do
month.
you have a problem with all the withdrawals? So I'm talking about exhibits 50 and 51. Those were the charts. And exhibit 55 were the actual USA.
The cash withdrawals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they made it hard for me to balance what I was doing from month to month with the checking account because I didn't know how much cash was going to be taken out. So whenever I would go to make adjustments from the savings account to the checking account to pay the overages and things like that, I'd have to account for $1,400 to $2,000 I wasn't expecting to be gone. So it kind of, just made me pull money out of savings even faster to pay the month.
See, that's why I like my life, because there's no way $1,400 could just be gone from my account. Because there's not $1,400 in my account.
All right. And I mean, what's your position with the $17,000 that you heard her testify about squirreling away? Do you think you should get credit for that?
I should get credit for it, but I mean, I'm not asking her to write me a check for it. She needs money to get started with, and I'm okay with her keeping that for that purpose.
All right, I'm going to show you exhibit 49 now. This is demonstrative evidence of legal expenses. We've already covered it, but it's just a chart that shows the differences in spending and incurring attorney's fees in this case.
Same for 3 kids, same.
All right, so you've seen this before.
Yes.
You're aware of your wife between these 3 attorneys. The first attorney refunded her money, but for the first
Hi, Jackie. Hold on.
attorney that was issuing this case, you're aware that your wife is charged on your cards, your cards that you pay off with various means, $54,345.35 a day.
Correct.
That your attorney's fees for me, I'm the only attorney representing you, right?
Correct.
$36,964.03. That was before trial. Agree with that?
Yes.
That you yourself paid 2 mediators over $5,000.
Correct.
And that you yourself have paid an expert in excess of $35,000 or another invoice on the way.
Correct.
So you see where you have paid $132,124.58 in litigation expenses for this divorce.
Yep.
In addition to the $5,000 you paid for criminal defendants.
Yep.
Are you asking the court to consider this as part of equitable distribution and alimony in this case?
Correct.
Go to amend to 49.
No objection at all, Judge.
49's admitted.
Did you believe this divorce could have been settled without incurring over $100,000 in attorney's fees?
I wish it would have, yes. It could have.
So we've got your financial affidavit that I've already admitted in there, and a lot of it says see report. But there's also a section there that lists your monthly expenses. Can you walk us through what your monthly expenses are? And I mean, do you think any of, that's a broad question. Do you think any of your monthly expenses are going to be changing moving forward after the divorce? What do you expect to change?
Like I said, where I currently live now, I'm going to have to start incurring some type of rent payment to my girlfriend. That's got to happen.
So how much is the mortgage right now on the house
On her house,
that you're paying? No,
on that house,
on the marital residence.
2,500.
So do you expect if the house is sold, if that's not being paid anymore, that mortgage expenses to go away?
Correct.
All right. And so if the house is not sold, obviously, if you have to keep paying it for whatever reason, post-divorce, you can consider that to be an expense you still will maintain?
It would have to be an expense I'd have to maintain. Correct.
And then, I know you have a girlfriend now, but if that relationship doesn't work out or it does work out regardless, do you anticipate having a rent or a mortgage payment moving forward in your life?
Yes.
And so do you think you can afford to pay all of your expenses plus 2 mortgages, a rent, or a rent?
I think it'd be tough month to month.
So when you say it'd be tough month to month, do you see on your financial affidavit where it says, you still have that in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
where it says net income? What does that say?
What page are you on?
The very front page. The
2,643.
And so that's the amount that the expert gave is they found to be your disposable income after your monthly average income came in plus your expenses.
Yeah, I guess it just feels tighter because the number on top is 39 instead of 30.
All right. And so if you had to pay alimony, for example, plus child support, for example, I mean, how would you fit those payments in based on your disposable income?
Yeah, so I would ask the court the same thing I'd asked during our other settlements with them, that basically I would pay child support monthly every month, and then annually when I get my bonus, a percentage of that bonus would be given to her as alimony.
Well, but if you can't maintain a bonus, or if something happens and the job goes away, or you don't have bonuses, I mean, do you have the ability to pay $10,000 in combined income, combined alimony and child support every month?
No.
Do you live on your credit cards?
Pretty much.
Do you expect to continue to live on your credit cards?
Yeah. I don't see that changing anytime soon with the expenses.
All right, so now I'm going to show you Exhibit 12. It's already been admitted in evidence. This is your proposed child support worksheet. All right, so did you work with me to derive this worksheet last week when we submitted it?
Correct.
All right, you're prepared to pay or to agree to pay $4,108 a month?
It looks like she has been going through what looks to me like a credit card statement for a while now, for at least 20 minutes of the 30 minutes we've been in here. And she's adding up numbers. And I'm dying to know what she's adding up. His charges, because if she's adding up his charges to come after him, I'm going to Georgia, because that'll be too much for me to bear.
And child support for your two children?
Yes.
You think that's fair and reflective of your financial circumstances, the needs of the children?
I think it's fair based on the current circumstances, yes.
Do you think your wife's income should be imputed to $5,000 a month?
I think that right now this is what it is. and it might be revisited when she starts to earn income.
All right, but do you think it's fair for her income only to be $700 a month for a child support worksheet?
I think it would be fair for her to be listed at minimum wage, which would be, the minimum wage times 40 hours a week, because everybody's capable of that typically.
Do you think you should get credit for any daycare costs you continue to pay for the children or will pay for the children in the future?
Sure.
You think you maintain health insurance for the children?
Correct. I'll maintain health insurance for the kids.
And that costs you about $800 a month, as reflected in this worksheet, $828 a month.
Correct.
And is that part of the documents that were submitted as part of the report?
Correct. It's on my pay stubs.
All right. And are you committed to paying uncovered costs for the children, healthcare related costs such as dental, vision,
Cut
and
her
matters?
off.
Correct.
Are you asking for the 90% versus
Your new girlfriend wants all that money, sir. You're being really, really rude to your girlfriend.
10% division of that expense?
I'm fine with that, except for out of network.
So what's your hang up out of network?
My hang up with the out of network thing is that I already pay $800 something a month for health insurance. We should be using that. We shouldn't be going out of the network to use other doctors when I'm already paying $800 something a month to be using in-network doctors. Now, if there are no in-network doctors, then that's a different story. But there are plenty of in-network counselors and therapists in the Northeast Georgia area that we could be going to and saving ourselves in the marital, estate $2,000 something a month.
Extracurricular activities. Are you prepared to pay 90% of the cost of extracurricular activities?
Correct.
And so the marital residence, when did you obtain ownership of that property? What's the address?
8450. And I was 2015.
And you've heard your wife testify, I guess, what she wishes what happened to the house.
Correct.
And you've heard, I guess, what the expert assigned is, I guess, a Zillow.
Remember, she says that she can't work, and him paying her a lifetime of alimony isn't really a big deal because her mother died of Huntington's. Her grandmother died of Huntington's. Her sister definitely does not have it though, but she does because she got a blood test a decade ago. So she can't work, even though she has no signs of it and is not taking any medicine for it or under the doctor's care in any way, shape, or form for it. She definitely, can't work because of that.
Fair market value.
Correct. Yeah, there was a difference between the two, but I agree that within the range provided by the real estate expert and Zillow, it's in that ballpark.
All right. And you heard the real estate agent, Ms. Ward, testify as the comps, and
Correct.
and you had a phone call with her as to.
Yes.
And are you asking the court to allow you to pick the realtor? That the house has to be sold?
Yes.
Why?
No reason, just
You think she's going to cooperate with the sale, or
I think she would be difficult to work with on the sale, yeah.
your wife? Does it matter to you what the value of the house is?
Of course.
And why does it matter to you?
Well, I guess if I'm giving all the money to her, it doesn't matter to me, but no, it does matter to me, I guess, because I want to see the house sold for as much as possible. I don't want it to just sell for liquidation prices. You know what I mean?
Why do you think it's fair to give her, so you're prepared to give her 100% of the equity in that house?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yes. Why do you think that's fair?
To maintain the business interests of my businesses and my company stock and everything like that. If I maintain that, I think it's fair. I think it's, from an equitable division standpoint, it's fair that she keeps the house.
Do you think that should be taken into consideration on alimony?
If there's an imbalance, yes.
Your 401k. Well, hold on. Before I move on to that, I'm going to go over a couple of exhibits with you to show the current value. So I'm going to show you P40. Show you a few exhibits, P40, P41, and P42.
Judge, I'll stipulate to P41, P40, P41, P42 as to their admissibility and admission into evidence.
All right, very good.
All right, so my understanding is these are the most recent statements that you sent to me just before trial to show the current balances, right?
Mhm.
Owed
Yes.
On these debts. Well, not debts, it's one's a 401k, but one of the other two are debts. So P40, is that the most current mortgage statement? And that
Yes.
shows a present mortgage as of last week, $287,693.18.
Correct.
And that's what you're asking to be paid off and sell the proceeds.
Correct.
All right, and 41, you have this personal loan. Is that a personal loan statement balance?
It is
What's the current balance in there?
76,873.
And that's not attached to the house.
No, it's not.
So why don't you talk about when you got that loan, what was the basis?
So I got the loan as a debt consolidation.
How do you get a personal loan for $78,000? I thought like they were like capped at like 20. Other than that, it's a different type of loan. How do you get a personal loan for $78,000? How?
Loan back early in the year, and then I had to re-up. There was a question about me taking, or at least it was said that I took $20,000 more out because I had a loan for 60, and then I had to get another loan for 80 to eat the 60 plus cash out 20, and I had to do that to pay Nicholson because they don't accept credit card; they only accept cash.
Which you won't leave
So
me.
I had to come up with $20,000 cash that I didn't have. So I had to go get that personal loan to bring $20,000 to the table to pay Nicholson. It wasn't used for my girlfriend's basement like they said it was.
All right. And so how are you asking that debt to be paid off?
I said that I would take that debt.
Yeah, no, make her pay
You
it,
want to
please.
sell the proceeds from the marital residence to pay that off? Are you willing to just have that separate as your own?
I'm willing to have it separate.
Okay. All right. So that gives her more equity.
It gets her more equity.
All right, I'm going to show you exhibit 42.
I don't want to see this exhibit. I've had
Statement.
enough.
It's a combined statement, or is it just, how does that work?
Yeah, so the way these fidelity statements work is they don't really produce statements. They have like a time range you can select on the website, and based on the range you select, they tell you what your beginning balance, ending balance, and any additional payments made into it, et cetera, were during that time frame. They just don't give you statements for some reason.
All right.
So I pulled like the most recent month that I could pull, and this is what it pulls. That it's worth, roughly $44,000.
And it's your understanding that you may have some type of separate account, maybe worth another 5,000 or so,
There's an annuity account worth 6,600 something.
and it was in their expert report.
Correct.
Are you willing to give 100% of that to your wife?
Sure.
Why do you
No.
think that's fair?
Stop. Dude, you need to stop. I need to go to Georgia tomorrow to speak to this man. I'm going to show you. So this is Georgia. This is their case. This is what's going on in their case. Everything that has that's a lot. Really, that's not normal, guys. This much stuff is just not normal, especially when he's being so accommodating. But so the very last thing we have going on in this case was from 2 days ago. I guess they didn't want the testimony of Jessica Ward, the realtor. So I'm going to just check this at the beginning of every stream from here on out. I'm going to check this, and it'll give us what we want. I mean, I might have to pay for it, but I could subscribe And then I will automatically get emailed when a new thing is up on this case. But subscription is a low price of $329. Whoops, there's my card number. So I'm not going to subscribe. I'm just going to check this space. Hold on. I want to see something. So this paper right here is $5. I mean, I feel like we can just read it, right? This is what I'm going to do. At the beginning of every stream, I'm just going to pretend I'm printing it and make it bigger and read it till we have a verdict, because I need to know.
I think it's fair because of the collectible values and some of the other things that I've acquired. I think that it balances that out.
And are you willing to even pay a lawyer if there's any fees associated with transferring that?
Depends on how much they
David
are.
Cody.
Yes.
Can you pay my
We'll talk about
subscription?
that.
Yeah, how much the fees are. So
I'm
not
a
gonna say yes,
psychiatrist.
Right off the bat to them.
They want you to subscribe. They do.
Your motor vehicles,
Everybody.
let's talk about that. So what are there's 3 motor vehicles as I understand it.
There's 4.
4, okay, why don't you walk us through each motor
There's
vehicle?
the Toyota Sienna.
And that's what is she drives? Okay.
She drives the Toyota Sienna. It's paid off. It's probably worth somewhere between $30,000 and $36,000.
Are you fine with her keeping that?
I'm fine with her keeping that.
How did that get paid off? And,
Using my bonus money and stuff, we paid it off.
all right.
There's the Toyota Sequoia, which is the truck that I drive. It still has like 77,000 owed on it.
So you're willing to keep paying that yourself?
Pay it off and give it to her.
There's a Toyota Prius.
Wait. That just flew right by my head. The truck that he drives still has $76,000 to be paid on it. Oh. What?
That has about 160, 170,000 miles on it. It's worth maybe $4,000, $5,000 tops. It's got damage done to it, and the air conditioning doesn't work in it, or the heat.
And so where's that vehicle?
It's my brother has it in his possession in South Georgia. I didn't have somewhere to keep it. He did, so he took it for me. I was living in the Everly apartments here across the street, and they're just, I mean, you guys see the parking over there. There ain't much, so I didn't have anywhere to park it.
Or do you want that to be awarded to you?
If she wants the Prius, she can have it. I don't care, but if it's going to get awarded, I'll take it, sure.
All right. What about the other vehicle?
The other vehicle is the Ford passenger van that's actually owned by Dark Sales Entertainment. It's part of that business, and we use it for bands to go on tour, and we rent it out for bands as part of the income proceeds of that business. Is we rent that van out.
You asking that to be awarded?
I'm asking that to be awarded to
No.
stay with the business.
No,
Yes.
she needs that.
It's worth 28 to 33,000, somewhere in that ballpark.
All right, so you
Yes,
said
she
on
needs that.
No.
And so are you aware of, I guess, an accusation that you've somehow violated a standing order or committed contempt, even though contempt hasn't been filed against you for buying a new vehicle in the middle of the divorce case?
Yeah, I mean, it was spoken that I shouldn't have, but
Why don't you explain, why and why did you select the vehicle you have? Did you trade the other vehicle?
I wanted to trade the Prius in for it, but I couldn't because I couldn't get the title from Samantha, so I didn't. So I ended up just buying it outright. The Prius had problems. It didn't have air conditioning. It didn't have heat. And I had an incident where I had a deer jump out in front of me and I had to run off the road.
So you were driving the Prius, the one that's at your brother's house?
Yeah, I was driving the Prius. But like I said, I had an incident where I had to go off the road and I hit a ditch. And when I did, it knocked the alignment and something in the steering loose. So it had some kind of like knock in the steering and it had problems. It needed some work. And I didn't really feel safe driving the kids around in it. So I didn't want to have no air conditioning during summer and no heat during winter. So I decided to get rid of the car.
So the vehicle you have now, did you put any money down or did you just finance it?
I financed it outright.
And again, you're fine taking all the responsibility of that. All right.
Yep.
So why did you pick the make and model of the, I mean, you think it's a luxury vehicle that wasn't necessary or what?
No. Part of the thinking is that I already had 2 kids and I needed space for those 2 kids, myself, my girlfriend, and she had 2 kids. If it ever came to a point where I needed a car big enough, or we needed a car big enough for all of us, you know,
All right.
someone had to have one. So I figured that it was, that would be the case.
Okay, but I'm really sure, I'm 100% certain that there's a car that fits those dimensions or a truck that fits those dimensions for less than the price of a house.
It's pretty much anybody I'll be with. So I got a bigger vehicle.
All right. So before we move on since we're on the topic of your girlfriend, do you think you spend money on your girlfriend or kids? And
I don't spend anything unnecessary on them. No.
All right. Well, can you give us some examples of things you may have spent?
Sure.
And how
So
much?
like there was an accusation made that I spent money at Zell's right before Valentine's Day, and that's correct. I bought my girlfriend a Valentine's Day gift. I didn't think it was obsessive or excessive.
Do you pay her bills or?
I don't pay any of her bills. I pay for groceries every now and then. She'll, I'll go to the grocery store and pay for groceries maybe once a week, once every other week.
How much do you think you spent at Zell's?
I might have spent $700-800.
Did you say 700 to 800?
Yeah.
All right. And these trips, which trips did she go on? Did her kids go with you?
Her kid.
Was that $700 or $800 groceries? Because now now I really want to move to Georgia. He's buying her groceries for $800. Wow, it really must be love.
Kids went with her son went with me and my kids and her over Christmas, New Year's to Disney. She paid for her tickets and paid for her kids' tickets. They reimbursed me for those.
I would rather have groceries
And
than sales.
Zelle and Venmo.
And so are you taking trips just new? Is it something new or?
No, I've always taken trips. We've always traveled a lot. That's why we had the timeshares, because we like to travel a lot.
So before you and Samantha separated in July of 2023, I mean, did you take her on trips with you?
Absolutely. I mean, not business trips. She didn't really go on. She's gone on maybe 1 or 2 business trips with me because we have kids and they can't really go with us on business trips. But when we didn't have kids and she didn't work and she was working, she went on a couple trips with me here and there. A long time ago.
What was the last trip she went with you before you
For
separated?
business?
Well, just in general, before you
The last
separated.
trip, we went to Alaska. We went on an Alaskan cruise in June before the July incident. And then before that, the year before that, we went to Hawaii for 2 weeks. The year before that, we went to, where did we go?
And if you had-
We go on trips. We go on a lot of trips together. It's part of something we like to do is travel.
So why didn't she go with you on your business trips?
Like my working trip.
Just put me in the meat aisle and say, honey, pick out anything you want. What?
Trips, well, mainly because we had kids.
Okay.
And they couldn't really come with us. They'd come every now and then. Like they came to Pennsylvania with me once. If I was going somewhere cool, we might consider it. Like if I was going to Florida somewhere, something like that, which just didn't happen a lot. But if it did, we'd consider that. She went to Europe with me, went to England back when I worked at Blue Yonder.
So I want to go over some other assets. I'm actually almost done with my questioning for you. But I want to go, when I say other assets you think you may own, anything that stands out to you, specifically, I guess, items that are still in the marital residence.
And there he goes. He had to go and do it. Pacifically. That's it. I'm shutting the stream off because I cannot handle Pacifically anymore. If he says it one more time.
Items that I still own. There's a lot of studio equipment.
Right. So do you remember yesterday I went through a sort of a colloquy with her as to.
Yeah, so there's the big green egg I'd like to have.
All right, so why don't you tell us a list of the things that are in the residence that you want?
Okay, so the big green egg I'd like to have, my toolbox with all the tools in it. my miniatures and collectibles and toys that are there. All my studio equipment that's remaining, including the acoustic treatments. I think I have some cologne, like some colognes and things like that there that I'd like to have back. And that's about it.
Well, so a couple categories that I brought up with your wife, they were listed on her financial affidavit. Video games. She said she
Well,
thought.
I've already have those in my possession.
Okay, so do you think they're worth $2,000 of video games? And
I think that value is probably close
Did she
on
ever-
video games. Yeah.
did your wife ever play the video games or?
No, she might play them with our son every now and then, but
All right.
nothing extensively.
Did you hear where yesterday she thought it'd be fair for you to have to write her a check for the value of the video games?
Yeah, I kind of thought that was ridiculous.
And what about this Apple Music and Apple Video? She
I
thought
I
4,000.
thought that was even more ridiculous.
So what is-
because it's digital assets. How do I sell her digital assets? So she's talking about an Apple movie collection that's like if you're on Amazon and you buy a movie and it's in your Amazon collection, it's your Apple TV collection. You buy a movie, it's in your Apple TV collection. They're non-transferable digital assets. I don't see how I can do anything with those. And then music downloads that's just nothing. I pay $9.99 a month for Apple Music and $9.99 a month for Spotify. That's unlimited download music. So I don't know where I spend a lot of money on music and movies comes from.
A toolbox. I don't know if you mentioned that, but is there, what is that? Do you have some expensive tools or?
No, I have a toolbox that I've had forever. It's just a Craftsman stand-up toolbox. It's just got, it's got a few $100s worth of tools in it. And we got the toolbox at an auction in Florida for like $500. It's not like we paid a lot for it. Just, I didn't see her having a need for it, and I'd like to have it.
What about your guns? I know you have bond conditions on you right now.
I don't even care about the guns. No, I'd like to have back maybe the ones my grandfather gave me, but other than that, I could care less about the guns. We could sell them.
All right. And so if the judge, are you asking for anything else like furniture? Are you good with her having, what do you think the furniture in that house is worth?
Not much. Most of that furniture was built by her dad and me.
All right, so you don't have a problem with her keeping any of that?
Mhm.
So above those categories of items you just itemized, and I think you've already covered what you think trading cards are worth, the equipment's worth. You think that's a part of what you're asking for in equitable distribution in lieu of her getting the entirety of the equity and all your retirement accounts? And
I think it is.
what about division of your business interest? I mean, you heard the expert, what they assign as the valuation of your business interest. You agree with those? Can you sit here and say?
I think that the experts
I want to
were a little low, but I
want
think
to
that's
grill.
that off.
And
My
so
personal opinion.
are you asking for you to receive 100% of your business interest?
I am asking to receive 100% of my business interest of this.
And you heard your wife's testimony yesterday that, and I walked her through various questions. She hasn't contributed anything to your businesses, including appreciation of business.
Correct.
And so is that a,
I guess I'll have to be Nan stand-in. I'll stand in for you, Nan.
another consideration of why you're willing to give her what you're willing to give her as to the house equity, your retirement, her car? You take literally 100% of the debt other than the mortgage?
Correct.
All right.
And that's with the assumption that legal fees are going to have a tie back because that's a big part of the debt.
All right. Do you know what the current balances are? Maybe we should take, Judge, I was just going to ask some of my follow-up questions here is what are the current balances in all of his accounts and the credit cards? And I meant to ask him to do it this morning, just didn't have time.
I mean, I know pretty rough. So it's 40,000 on the Chase Marriott card.
Balance right now?
Yep. 19,000 on the Discover card.
Tell you what, go a little slower so I can take some notes.
Okay. Sorry.
40K on the
Chase
Chase
Marriott.
Marriott. Okay.
I can't
There's,
breathe. Oh my God.
19,300 on the Discover card. There's nothing on the Chase United card. There's nothing on the USAA card. The Sweetwater card, I believe, has $5,000 or $6,000 on it. There's nothing on the PayPal card. And the American Express, I believe, has around 24,000 on it, and it's going to get paid today.
I would never be able to fall asleep ever if I had that much debt hanging over my head. I would never in a million years be able to close my eyes and fall asleep. You would see me all day long looking around. They're coming to get me. They're coming to get me.
So it'll have less on it.
And you're aware that you've got a balance owed to me, and you're going to have an invoice coming to the expert.
Mhm.
You're going to pay that too.
Yeah, I got credit cards to pay that with.
All right, and you're willing to pay all that too.
I gotta pay you.
All right. Do you have any jewelry laying around, fancy jewelry or anything?
No,
All right. Do you have any other type of assets that you think is fungible or otherwise, have liquidity in?
nothing I can think of.
So do you think, I think you said you're going to pay off a credit card. You plan on paying a credit card off. How do you plan on paying that credit
Well,
card?
I have money in so our American Express, we pay every month. That's the card we use every day. And then I pay it off every month with proceeds from my pay.
All
And
right.
so that's what I'm going to do and I probably won't be able to pay it all off because it's actually high this month. So I'll try to pay off as much of it
All
as I
right.
can.
So what's your plan if the judge does not award you all the money sitting in your joint account right now? I mean, how are you going to be able to pay that off?
I mean, Judge, I assume that I'm paying bills like normal right now. So I'm just paying that bill like normal, come due on 14th.
Well, so, trial, the judge might order.
We were
it
dreaming.
says otherwise.
Just dreaming.
but-
If that happens, then
It wasn't real.
Then it won't get paid today.
Well, so do you know what the balances are in all your accounts right now? Well, not your credit.
Yeah,
money
there's
sitting in
around $800 in my savings account. There's around $24,000 in the joint checking account.
Where did this money come from? What's the sources of
The
it?
source of all this money is that I've said so far is my paychecks and bonuses.
So you say bonuses, is it leftover money from the past bonus?
Correct.
Joint checking, you said there's how much?
24,000. There's a little under $4,000 in the studio account. And that source of that is eBay and Bandcamp. And then there is $500 in a tax account. There's $1,700 in a tax account. And I believe that is it.
And you're asking to be awarded 100% of all of those accounts.
I'm asking for those accounts to be awarded to me.
And you're
Yes.
asking for none of the money in her 17,000 in her account.
Correct.
And you're asking if she has any other accounts you don't know about, she can have that money.
Correct.
Um,
So one of the things that we need to understand about that 24,000 is that 24,000 is the electronic balance. It's not the actual checkbook balance. The checkbook balance on that account is actually $5,000. So once all the bills come out of it and everything, it's like maybe $5,000-6,000. I'd have to let it sit to really know for sure because I don't balance that book as often as I should.
And are you asking, moving forward, once the divorce is entered, your wife not have access to your joint accounts,
Correct.
not have access to any of your credit cards?
Correct.
If your wife has credit cards in her individual name that I think she testified one, but any accounts in her individual names, are you asking for that to be her debt?
That's her debt.
All right. And
Obviously, the American Express card is in her name, but I would take that. That's not,
if there's any card on it, any debt on it?
well, there is debt on, that's the joint card we use together.
Well,
So,
I'm talking about
yeah.
a separate card and a
Yeah,
separate.
well, that has her name on it. That's why I brought it up.
All right.
All right, let's get to the alimony for
And,
life,
I'm
please.
just going to bring this up here. And I don't want you to go into what was actually offered, but you're aware that in authorized letters that I sent to your wife's attorney, starting back in February,
Was it she wants $6,000 alimony for the rest of her life, even if she gets remarried, and $4,000 in child support, right? It was like $10K a month. Is that right?
Emails and
Correct.
subsequent offers, you kept increasing offers to avoid trial,
Correct.
and you authorized me to make those offers.
I did.
You think those were fair?
I thought we made very fair offers.
And you heard, and it's already in the evidence, that Our Family Wizard communications, after my last offer on April 22nd to your wife's attorney, and you're aware of the email I got?
I'm going to object to leading. I've not objected for the last 30 minutes for brevity purposes, but it's getting a little bit much.
All right, well.
This thing, rephrase your question.
Are you aware of settlement offers I've made?
Yes.
Did you authorize settlements offers I made?
Yes.
You aware of lack of responses to settlement offers?
Yes.
Were you aware of responses, though?
Yes.
All right. And after those formal exchanges between me and her attorney, did you and your wife yourselves, without lawyers involved, engage each other on Our Family Wizard?
Yes.
All right. And was there a breakdown in what you thought was reasonable or unreasonable?
Correct.
Don't go into the offers, but.
Yeah, just the alimony was way too high.
All right. And was there anything else that stood out to you that you thought was unreasonable other than the alimony?
The alimony and
everything.
keeping that counsel out of network. We didn't agree to that.
All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
How much are the guns worth? Just ballpark?
Somewhere probably between 3,000 and 5,000. It's not a lot.
I didn't hear what he said. Do you guys hear it?
You said there was something in particular you wanted from the guns. Your grandfather left you or something.
He left me 3 of the guns, but I mean, if I don't get them, it's not going to kill me. You know what I mean?
All right.
It's not like me and Grandpa went hunting with them or something. I mean, it's just they were gifts from him.
All right. Do you think the guns are worth 3,000 to 5,000?
Yes, sir. And that might be on the high side. I'm not a gun expert.
And there's one American Express card, and you think it's got a balance of about $24,000 that you're going to pay today?
Yeah, I'm going to pay not all 24. I'm going to pay the statement balance on it's about half that. And there's a third American Express card that wasn't mentioned. That's my work only card that only has work expenses on it, and they're reimbursed by work. So I don't really use it for anything but that.
So wait a minute, you said there's 3 American Express cards?
Yes, sir. There's a joint account. There's a joint American Express that's mine and hers joint account, and then there's my work account.
That's 2.
Right, but there's 3 cards.
I got you. All right.
Sorry.
2 accounts, 3
3
physical
cards. Yeah, 3 physical cards, 2 accounts.
All right.
Judge, I said that's all I have for this witness, but I do have the issue of my attorney's fees, and so maybe I should cover that with him now or state my place, and then
Why
that's
don't we
all.
just wait? I'm going to let you stay in your place
Okay,
eventually.
all right, I understand.
All right. Need a restroom break?
Yes, please.
All right, let's take a restroom break for 5 minutes, and we'll come back and pick up a cross-examination.
Okay.
Like I said, we're going to stop at noon for an hour today.
Okay.
Take a break.
Thank you.
My dinner's here finally. My dinner. I'm so hungry. Roast beef sandwich. Anybody want some? It's really large. I don't know if I'll be able to eat it, but I'm going to try. Come get it. You can have whatever you want. All right, they're back.
Say, I don't really. I'm gonna slide this over so I'm not standing right.
No,
in
it's a
front of
local,
the council.
bar.
Keep sliding, make sure let's try this one.
Nobody was cheating.
We're-
So they got into a fight in a car one day. And his testimony is she started hitting him. And then, I don't know what he said he did back. And her testimony is she beat him. I mean, he beat her. So I don't know what happened. But he got arrested that day for domestic violence. And he's not allowed to have guns. And he's not allowed to go near her and all this stuff.
Okay. I know. I'm trying not to trip. Let's see, do you have that total? Okay, that's fine. Keep working on it. Okay, Mr. Satterwhite, we're going to go through different things that you've talked about. I have a tendency to talk pretty fast. So if at any point I start to talk too fast, just ask me to slow down. If I ask a question that you don't understand, I'm not going to be offended. Just say, I don't really understand what you're asking me, because I want to make sure we get it right and we're not guessing, okay?
Okay.
So let's start with some basic stuff. And also, I tend to jump around at times. So, if we get off track, just, slow me down. So let's start with the businesses that you have. Your sworn testimony is that you have 3. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay. And you have the Maelstrom Studio, Dark Sales Entertainment, and
Cardboard Ag,
Okay.
DCS. Yep.
DCS, all right. So let's start with Maelstrom Studio. How is it formed as far as an entity? Is it an LLC or a corporation?
It's an LLC.
Is it, do you do annual registration with the Secretary of State?
Correct.
Okay. And when did you form that LLC?
– 2019, I think, maybe 2018. It's one of the two.
When you formed that LLC, did you own any studio equipment at all?
I own some music equipment, yes.
Okay. When did you begin I'm going to call it remodeling of the basement of the marital residence for the studio? Do you recall that?
It was, I don't recall. Yeah, I don't recall. It was 2019, but I don't remember when exactly.
Okay. And I believe your testimony earlier was that it costs between 100 to 150 to do that. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And did you pay somebody to do that, or did you do the work yourself?
I paid a contractor and helped them as part of the agreement.
Did you, if I understood your testimony correctly, you had to take out a loan to do that?
We refinanced the house and we cashed out part of the equity of the house to do as part of that. And then the rest of it was credit cards.
Okay, so let me back up. So would you agree with me that your father-in-law, I believe it's Herman Autry, deeded the property where the marital residence is located on Skits Mountain to you individually in 2014?
Correct.
And was there a home on the land at that point?
No.
Okay, so you and Samantha built the home?
Correct.
Okay. Would you agree with me that in 2019, you executed a deed conveying your sole ownership from yourself to yourself and Samantha jointly in 2019.
Yeah,
Was that deed commensurate with the refinance? Is that the same time frame?
yes.
Okay. Do you recall, well, when you refinanced, did you add any debt to the existing mortgage, or did you simply withdraw the equity that was in the property at that time?
Isn't that the same thing?
So what was, let me ask it this way. Do you know what you owed on the mortgage prior to the refinance?
I don't. I'd have to go back and dig around and look.
Okay.
Can I interrupt for just a second? When Mr. Autry deeded you this property in 2014, did you buy it? Did he give it to you? Was it because, did he give it to you because y'all were married? I mean,
He gave it to us.
the intention was he gave it to both of y'all because you're married. It was just in your name.
He gave it to both of us, but it was in my name only when we first started out. But he gifted it to us on the terms that we take on the tax payments and everything associated with it. He was going through some financial rough times, so it's kind of helped him out at the same time.
Gotcha.
So if I understood, you refinanced the house and spent the rest on credit cards to create the studio downstairs.
Correct.
What credit card specifically did you utilize to cover the expenses for the
It
basement?
was a combination of all the cards that we have. Just depended on what it was.
Do you recall how much was approximately charged to the various credit cards that was not covered by the refinance?
I don't.
Do you have an approximation of whether it was, $5,000, $50,000?
That was put on the credit cards? For
Yes, sir.
20, maybe 30.
Would that have been around the same time as the refinance in 2019?
It would have been close to it, yeah.
Okay. What inspired you to convert, well, let me ask you, let me strike that and ask this first. Was the basement to your home an unfinished, studded basement, or was it partially finished? Describe it to
finished.
me.
It was partially finished. It had basically everything but paint.
It had everything but what?
Everything but paint and like trim.
So it had sheetrock on the walls?
Correct.
Okay. Flooring, it wasn't a concrete slab or anything like that?
It was flooring.
Did you, when you, again, we're just going to call this remodeled. When you remodeled the basement, did you change the flooring type?
Yes.
Okay, what did you change it to?
From carpet to hardwood.
Like an LVP, a linoleum, a genuine, like a real
It was
hardwood?
engineered hardwood.
Engineered hardwood, all right. Was that a necessary addition for the studio?
Correct.
Did you have to change the covering on the walls from sheetrock to some other material?
No, we double layered the walls with 2 layers of sheetrock and a mastic compound between them for soundproofing.
When did you add the solar panels to the home?
Oh, wow. 2016, maybe 17.
So the solar panels were in existence.
They were way before studio. Yeah.
Was Oliver born when the solar panels were added?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Because he was born in 2016, correct?
Correct.
Okay. But around that time.
Yeah, something like that.
So the solar, you would agree with me that the solar panels were not added specifically for the production or the use of your studio?
No.
And how much do you owe on the solar panels?
It's roughly 25 grand.
And those are financed with Green Sky, is that right?
Correct.
Do you know how much that monthly payment is?
250, roughly.
Do you know what the interest rate is?
18%.
Do you remember how much the original purchase price was?
I don't. Not exact.
Right. What's your position on who should be responsible for the solar panels?
I'm pretty sure I already said I would take those.
Okay, I
Yeah.
just probably didn't hear you.
No, it's okay. Yeah, along with the house, I consider that part of the house because that's the electric system for the house.
Is the house heated by an electric or a gas furnace?
Electric.
So going back to your businesses, Maelstrom Studios and LLC, do you have a bookkeeper that does your monthly bookkeeping, such as reconciliation of bank statements, credit card statements, a general ledger, profit and loss, anything of that nature?
Not an accountant.
Do you have anybody who would not call themselves an accountant, but does that function for your business?
Me.
You, okay. What monthly financial statements do you produce for the Maelstrom Studio specifically each month?
I don't do it monthly. I do it quarterly.
And walk me through that process. What does that look like?
I take all of my credit card statements and all of my bills, and I go through all the statements and I pull out the stuff that was business expenses and put them into the expense side, take out things that are revenue, put them into the revenue side. Throughout the quarter, I might pull revenue in as I'm getting it. It just depends on how I'm paid. If I'm paid through Cash App, I just wait and pull the statements and then just pull it off the statements. But if I'm paid cash, then I'll put that directly into the spreadsheet when I get it.
Okay.
Wouldn't it have been delicious if she turned around and said it slowly to the attorney while she was asking him the question?
And the exhibits that we have seen through your lawyer, are those spreadsheets reflecting cash payments? The quarterly statements that you referred to, are they in the stacks that you've reviewed today?
No,
Okay.
they're
do
not
you
really
have them?
statements. They're just, it's an Excel workbook that I maintain on a quarterly basis.
Okay. And did you bring the Excel workbook that you've been keeping quarterly for the Maelstrom Studio?
No, I don't believe I brought it with me. Chris, I don't know if you brought it.
You weren't asked to bring it.
Okay, yeah. It may be in the financial experts thing because they had access to all three of the books. So it may be in her analysis somewhere.
Okay,
I don't
okay,
know.
we can look there, certainly. And so you've been would you agree with me that you've been very diligent in updating your domestic relations financial affidavit?
I've been as diligent as I can, yeah.
You've updated it. I think the first one may have been in February of 2024, is that right?
I've updated it like 5 times, so I can't remember all 5 times I've done it, but I've done it quite a few times, with the most recent time being last week.
Okay, perfect. And so when did you start keeping those quarterly financial statements for the Maelstrom Studio specifically?
So basically since 2021. Pretty sure.
So for that business, you have produced or otherwise generated 16 to 20 of those Excel workbooks quarterly for the Maelstrom Studio. Is that accurate?
Well, I don't like save them off every quarter and say that there was quarter 1, there was quarter 2. It's a continuous book for the whole year.
Okay, so you should have 4 to 5 of those.
So I have 4 to 5 of those, one for each year, yeah.
When's the last time, because we're in, goodness, May, so it's past first quarter.
Mhm.
Would you agree with that?
Correct.
So you've created a workbook or started a workbook for 2025 for the first quarter for Maelstrom, is that right?
Correct.
And is that attached to the 2 financial affidavits you have filed, in this case, this year? Or excuse me, 3, one in February, one in March.
Weirdly enough, neither of them seem to be liars. Both of them I don't know. I haven't caught either of them in a lie. Have we? I don't know.
Or April and one in May?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you have your financial affidavit in front of you?
Yep.
Right. And if you could just take a moment, is that the one that's rather thick with some exhibits?
Yeah.
Okay, so take a moment and find the date in which you signed a verification.
Okay.
And what is that date?
7th
Of what month?
May
What year?
2025.
Okay, so less than 7 days ago is when you signed that verification. Is that accurate?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Do you understand what it means when you sign that verification?
Yes.
What does it mean to you?
It means that everything that I've put in here is as true, as truthful as I can be.
Do you understand that it's the same as raising your right hand, swearing to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. You understand that if the court finds that you have been dishonest in your testimony today or in a sworn document, such as the financial affidavit, the court could find that you have perjured yourself.
Sure.
And you're not here to do that. You're here to be honest, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Take a moment and look through all of those exhibits to your sworn financial affidavit 6 days ago. And let's look at your financial statements for Maelstrom specifically.
In the back exhibits.
Sure, take all the time you need. Look through it.
I just feel like if he lied or if he got something wrong, he got it wrong the wrong way. So I feel like if she finds a lie, it'll be like he said he had $30,000, but he really only has $20,000, which will hurt her client in the end because he promised to give her the $30,000. You know what I mean? I just feel like she's about to shoot her client in the foot. I don't know why.
All the pages and find those income and expense sheets that you've kept every year for the Maelstrom studio.
Yeah, I don't believe they're in
I
here.
agree with that.
Okay. Sometimes mistakes happen, but we've got 2 other businesses. Dark Sales Entertainment. Do you do the same record keeping yourself in a workbook for Dark Sales Entertainment?
Yep.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. Do you do that quarterly as well?
Yes.
Okay. Flip through that sworn statement and let's look at that one.
It's not there.
All right. Same for Cardboard Addict. When did you start that business?
October of 24.
Do you do the same record keeping for it yourself?
Yep.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
And the reason I keep saying is that a yes, we have a court reporter taking your sworn testimony, and yep may mean something different to you and I, but yes has the same common meaning. So I just want to make sure. So flip through that sworn statement of your income and expenditures and assets that you've sworn to this court is the truth and the whole truth, nothing but the truth. And please find that statement for Card Addict.
It's not there.
You would agree with me, Mr. Satterwhite, that the 3 to 4 prior sworn financial affidavits that you have filed with this court and presented as the truth and the whole truth, nothing but the truth, also do not include any of those income expenses, or excuse me, income statements.
They don't.
Why not?
Well, they reflect a lot of losses that would have made it very unfair.
Unfair to who?
Unfair to her.
Okay. And that's your subjective belief, is that right?
Correct. It would have brought my income down substantially.
And so it's your sworn testimony today that you did my client, your wife, a favor by excluding losses.
Judge, first of all, I'm going to object. It's passive aggressive line of questioning. I understand he's on cross, but it's complete misrepresentation of the financial affidavit. The financial affidavit clearly says, see report, see spreadsheets as referring to the experts report, the luminous report. So, I mean, this is just completely out of line to basically frankly say my client has been perjuring himself because he didn't include something in his financial affidavit when it clearly says see report, referring to P1 and the multiplicity of documents and attachments. So it's just, that's the basis of my objection.
Overall, I don't think Ms. Kimbrell alleges that Mr. Satterwhite has perjured himself. At least I didn't hear her say that yet.
She did say it.
Well, she said,
It's purging myself if I lied.
correct. She said.
Is it trellis.com?
If you didn't include information, that would be perjury. I haven't seen her prove that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's no different than the DRFA we got from them that's different from time to time.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Kimbrell. Go ahead and
Thank
ask
you,
your
Judge.
questions.
Right. You were present yesterday during Ms. Jennifer Wren's.
Where is it? What's the link? Or is it trelliswhat.com? Trellislaw.com? Does it say how much?
testimony, correct?
Correct.
And you, did you hear her say that she received a spreadsheet from you for cardboard addicts regarding income, but that she did not include it because she did not have time? Do you recall her?
It's not
testifying to that?
trellislaw.com. What is it? What's the link name?
Because it's what?
Because of time.
Do you recall her saying that she did not include the information from that spreadsheet?
I remember her saying that they didn't include any of the information from any of those spreadsheets.
And through the discovery process, you have produced everything that, to your lawyer, that you gave to the Nicholson Group in response to discovery. Is that right?
Correct.
Earlier, you, well, let me back up. So Maelstrom is an LLC. Is Dark Sales Entertainment also an LLC, or is it formed separately?
It's an LLC, formed separately.
What year was that formed?
2020.
Do you remember what month?
I don't.
The Georgia Peach that I was at is the official site for the lawyers to use. So the judge didn't post his decision yet. I'm not spending $80 though to find out what I might have to spend $80 on Georgia Peach tomorrow. I don't know.
No.
And then Cardboard Addict, you said was formed in October.
But what's the link? What's the
2024.
name? It's not trellis.law. It's not
Is
trellis.com.
that
It's not
formed as an LLC
trellislaw.com.
as well?
What
It's
is
an
it?
LLC, but it's using an LLC that was formed like 15 years ago.
What's the, is the LLC that was formed 15 years ago registered with the Georgia Secretary of State?
Yes.
Is it active and compliant?
Yes.
Has it been active and compliant for the last 15 years?
Yep.
What's the name of that LLC?
YOLO Ventures LLC.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to slow down.
YOLO.
Like, you only live once, YOLO?
YOLO. Yep. Ventures LLC. And if I'm not current, let me know because I got to pay that.
I'm at Trellis Laws. Oh, I see. I found it.
Yellow
Hall
Ventures
County.
LLC doing business as Cardboard Addicts. Is that what that is?
I know
Yes,
it's
sir.
echoing. Hold on.
So you testified, I believe, and I could be mistaken, please correct me if I'm wrong. I thought you testified that Samantha has had no part in the, I'm going to say, building of your businesses collectively. Was that, did I understand your testimony correctly?
Correct.
Amelia was born in October of 2020. Is that right?
Correct.
And Oliver was born in what month of 2016?
January.
So both, or Oliver at least, was born when both all three businesses were formed. Is that right?
Sounds right.
Maelstrom is the oldest business beginning in 2019, correct?
Correct.
So he was 2.5, 3 years old when you started Maelstrom.
Correct.
And then, do you remember what season of the month dark sales was, what season of the year, winter, spring, summer, fall of 2020 that you formed dark sales?
I think it was fall.
So around the time that my client was giving birth to your youngest child in that season of life?
Possibly.
How much time would you have to dedicate to, let's start with Maelstrom. How much time on average each day or each week would you have to dedicate from your day job to build and grow Maelstrom?
Yeah, I didn't dedicate any time from my day job.
And let me rephrase, I didn't mean it to come across as take away from. I meant in addition to your, I'm going to call it 9-to-5 job with Play Intensive or VACO, how many additional hours did you work each day, or each week to build and grow Maelstrom Studios?
Yeah, I worked probably another 20 to 30 hours a week.
And you were working 40 at, with, can we call it your day job? Can we agree?
That's
Okay.
fine.
You were working 40 hours for your day job plus the 20 to 30 per week?
Correct.
Okay. You would agree with me that for each of the businesses, at least the two older, Maelstrom and Dark Sales, that you had the benefit of my client caring for the children in your absence during those times when you were building and growing those businesses?
Yeah, to some degree. I watched them some too. I mean, it wasn't 20 hours every week.
No, that was the
You know what I mean?
correct
You know what I
one.
mean? So,
You were right.
Well, you would agree you weren't watching your children, you were just raising children as parents do, correct?
correct.
Okay. And when you were working, whether it's your day job or those additional 20 to 30 hours.
Oh, but
with the,
look.
Music businesses, would agree that you
There's a
received
free
benefit.
trial.
Would you agree?
No
You received
obligation.
benefit from
Cancel
my
anytime.
client being at home with the children in your
Bet.
absence?
Yes.
Do you have an opinion as to the hourly value that she added to your success in your business with her?
Zero.
$0. Okay. Walk me through that opinion.
I didn't get paid, so why would she get paid?
Okay. Going back to the bookkeeping for your businesses, we don't have those before us, but let me walk you through from the time you create it to the, I'm going to call it tax season each year. Do you have the same person prepare your taxes every year?
Yes.
Who?
Paget Business Services.
And is there a specific person at Paget Business Services who prepares yours or that you work with, or?
Josh Wickman is the primary contact, but it's something they do together.
I just signed up for this free trial, which I'm going to forget to cancel, obviously. And there is nothing here. So this is definitely the right case. Don't worry. Because who spells Cody? Codye. Only he does. So last update was 4 months ago. And there is no judgment. The last thing that came in here was September 14th, 2023. And that's it. That's the entire case history. We saw the whole case history on the other one. So yeah, nothing. There's nothing. I'll just keep checking that other site. That's where I get everything every day.
Who is they?
Cancel
Paget
his
Business Services.
subscription quick.
His boss, Janet.
Janet? Is Josh a certified public accountant or he's not? Okay. Does he hold any sort of licensure?
I'm not sure what EA means at the end of your signature, but he has an EA at the end of the signature.
Does he perform, or does Paget Business Services perform any tax withholding or payroll for any of your businesses?
No,
Do they pay in monthly, quarterly, or annually to the IRS or any state tax agencies?
no,
Who does that?
I do.
Don't worry, there is absolutely no cancel subscription button anywhere on this site.
So when you get ready to take your information to Paget Business Services, what information do you take to them for them to prepare your taxes?
My taxes like the end of the year.
The taxes that you file every year that you,
Yeah, so I give them my K-1 statement.
okay?
I give them the P&L books for each of the businesses. And we don't typically itemize, so I don't have to give them anything else really.
Now, from VACO, do you receive a W-2 for your salary pay plus a K-1 for your owner distributions?
No,
So VACO, or let me ask this for clarification, is VACO and Plantensive, if I use those interchangeably, are we talking about the same company?
you're talking about a parent company and its child. So you're talking about Plantensive is the company I work for.
Okay, so that's the most appropriate.
Yeah, you just, if you want to say VACO, I know what you're saying though.
Okay, because VACO's at the top, we can agree that it's at the top of your pay stub?
Mhm.
Yes, okay. So if I understood correctly, VACO does not withhold FICA, state taxes, federal taxes, none of that from your pay stubs that are generated?
Correct.
Okay. So those pay stubs that you receive are 100% owner distributions that are reflected on your K-1s. Am I understanding that right?
They are, I'm pretty sure, yes. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. There's a guaranteed salary and then the distributions beyond that.
So
Yeah, that
but
would
the
break my
guaranteed salary-
heart. That would break my heart if he got back together with her. He deserves so much better than that.
Let me break it down. The guaranteed salary is how much?
240,
$240,000 per year.
correct.
Okay. And it's your testimony that that is minimal, that is reflected on your K-1 every year plus bonuses.
Correct.
Your bank accounts, you have, and we're talking about checking and savings types accounts. They're all with USAA,
Yes.
and you have five or six? We have a joint checking, joint savings, and then how many others?
I think it's
Not-
six.
The
Six
most
total?
enjoyable
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Including the joint checking and joint savings?
correct.
Okay. And you refer to one of those as a tax account, or are there more than
There's two tax accounts.
two tax accounts? What's the purpose of that?
Because I have to wait so long to pay them. So I withhold from every check and I put it into the account. And then whenever it gets time to pay it out, I pay it out. But whenever it gets like time to change years, I have a second account that I start feeding with the second year's taxes. Because there's it's like a 9-month holdover period. So I use two different accounts to keep from robbing Peter to pay Paul for taxes and stuff like that.
Can I ask one other question?
Absolutely, Judge.
So from VACO, you get the 240 a year.
Correct.
They pay you monthly, I assume.
Correct.
And you get this bonus that fluctuates some. And then I saw something else where you got $250 a month. It was like a dividend or something like that. Is that from VACO
Distributions.
as well?
Correct.
And that's part of this K-1 as well?
Correct.
So $250 a month as a dividend, you said distribution.
Distribution.
Thank you.
As a partner in the company, well, how many other partners are there? How many other partners do you have in Plantensive?
4 that I know of.
And you're a minority shareholder, is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay. And you, do you know what the other 3 are there 5 in total or 4 in total?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I work with 2 managing partners and 2 other partners. I don't know if there's anybody else who's a shareholder of the company outside of that.
Okay.
If there is, that's not to my knowledge.
How many employees does Plantensive have?
75 to 80, roughly. It fluctuates a little bit, but somewhere in that ballpark.
Okay. When you were presented, I'm making an assumption that you were presented with the opportunity to become a partner, is that right?
Correct.
And remind me what year that was?
21.
2021, okay. But you started working there in 2016?
Started working there in 2016. Correct.
Okay. What, did you have to sign a partnership agreement?
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your well?
I
part of
think
part of
we
that
have
agreement
less than 5
was
minutes, I'm thinking.
The extension of a certain number of shares of stock in Plantensive, is that right?
Correct.
And how many shares were you issued in 2021 when you accepted into that partnership?
I want to say it was 12,000 or 16,000. It was one of those 2 numbers. I can't remember without looking. Both numbers come to my head for some reason.
Okay. Since 2021, have you been issued any additional stock?
No.
Since, did you own any stock in Plantensive prior to your partnership?
No.
Have you purchased any stock since your entry into this partnership?
No.
So between 12 to
It's
16,000.
non-transferable, non-sellable.
Okay, non-transferable, non-sellable.
So I can't really do that.
How many stocks are there in I'm going to be very simple, in the pot of stocks for Plantensive?
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll call it 12 to 16,000 stocks that you were issued in 2021. Do you still today, May 13th, 2025, do you still have in your, I'm going to say possession or right, those same number of stocks?
No. There was a cash out. There was a temporary cash out period there. Some of it was cashed out 2023
Okay.
for taxes.
So earlier when you said they were non-transferable, non-sellable,
It was a transaction.
okay, explain to me the difference between selling and a transaction.
So selling would be like, hey, I want to sell Judge Dill some stock. Can't do that. Transaction is another company comes and buys us.
And in 2023, this transaction, how many numbers of your shares were subject to said transaction?
I don't remember. Maybe 1,000.
There's paperwork, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I just don't know it off the top of my head. I don't have that kind of memory.
And if I understood let's call it 1,000 shares in 2023, was there a dollar amount assigned to each share?
In 20s, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember what it was.
Was it $1 a share?
No. I don't remember. I'm trying to think. I can't remember.
Let's,
Well, did you get a check? You said it was like a cash out for taxes.
Yeah, it was direct deposit, ACH, but I don't remember exactly what the amount of stocks were and what the payout was. I'd have to go back and look.
what account did that go into?
Pretty sure it went into the joint checking.
Her account. Her account that she lets him use every
What
once in a
time
while.
of year was that transaction in 2023?
Yeah.
Come on, say
Was
July,
it
please.
cold outside? Was it starting to get warm? Was it super hot, or was it starting to chill off?
You're Georgia, say
I don't know.
July.
Had you been arrested by White County Sheriff's Office yet?
No.
Okay, so fair to say it was
What a
before
bitch.
July 23rd of 2023?
Yes.
How were those funds used from this transaction?
Pay taxes.
Was this something that every partner, well, let me ask this, was this a voluntary transaction or was it an involuntary? Were you, walk me through how that occurred.
It was voluntary.
How so?
You could choose to take the transaction or not.
Is this something that every year Plan-Intensive gives you the option to take the transaction or not?
No.
What was different about 2023?
There was something about, I don't really recall. It was something with Vaco, the parent company, something about they weren't going to be going to a, so they're known for having transactions like every five
Well, she doesn't really have finances, so we will never know.
years, call it every 4 to 5 years, where they go in and they find a venture capital company or equity company to value the
She's
business,
a
and
mooch.
sell, and up and up and up and grow the business. And something about
I know already know what's going to happen. We all know what's going to happen. We all know she's going to get remarried like soon. And it'll be like someone with more money. We already know. She already has him in her sights.
they were
It'll be his lawyer.
not looking to have a transaction for some time, and because of that, they didn't feel right to some of the shareholders. So they did a internal transaction in order to allow people to take money off the table.
You decide to quit Plan-Intensive tomorrow. What happens with we're going to call it 12?
His lawyer's looking over there saying, man, that is low. That is underhanded. I can learn from her. Yeah.
14,
Nothing.
16, 16. What do
Because
you
I'm not vested.
Let me finish my question. So what will happen with the stocks that you still have today in your possession?
Nothing.
Okay. So when
They're not
will
in
you-
my possession. I'm not vested.
That was going to be my next question. This is very difficult for a court reporter if we talk over one another. So if I can ask the question, then you can respond. I'll give you all the time you want. When will you be vested?
Later this year.
This calendar year of 2025? What does it mean to you to become vested?
Pay a
That's
huge
right.
tax bill.
That's right, Christine. Get my viewers up. Love
Okay,
it.
Explain in detail, please.
We become vested. We have to pay the taxes on the money that we're vested in.
How much money do you have that will be subject to being vested?
Not sure.
What could you look at to refresh your memory? Is there a document?
Not that I'm aware of. There's no statements. It's not a publicly traded stock. I think I've explained that.
Okay, so let's go back. So you start working there in 2016. Were you a W-2 employee?
Yes.
How much were you paid per hour?
I wasn't paid hourly.
What was your annual salary?
2016, 165 maybe.
Did you receive any annual bonuses or were you only receiving your salary?
Got bonuses as well.
How much were your bonuses in 2016?
Less than 60.
1,000?
Yeah, it was like somewhere in the ballpark of 20 to 60.
Then in 2017, did your salary increase?
He doesn't remember if it was 20,000 or 60,000. He got a check for this. He got paid this money, and he doesn't remember if it was $20,000 or $60,000. I still remember in 2004, right before Christmas, I got $1,200 from this drywall company I worked for as a bonus. $1,200. I remember exactly.
I'd have to go back and look. I'm sure it did.
When was did your bonuses increase?
I'm sure they did. I'd have to go back and look because my book of business grew. So as my book of business grew, my bonuses obviously grew, but I don't know how much or what percentage or anything.
Do you have to maintain a certain level of book of business in order to be guaranteed your salary?
No. You have to maintain a book of business to keep your job, though.
Your annual salary that you receive right now, how long have you been receiving that amount of 240?
Since I became a partner.
So beginning in 2021?
Correct.
All right. What's the highest bonus you've ever received for a year?
180 something.
What year was that?
2023.
What was your bonus for? Well, let me ask this. Was your bonus for 2024 the one that has been reflected in bank statements for this year? Like, did you receive your 24 bonus in 25?
So yes and no, because there was a portion of my 23 ball.
All right. He's a consultant for big companies. That's pretty much all I know. He's a consultant for big companies. I want that job. How do I get that job? Somebody give me more information so I can go get that job. I'll share the money with you. I don't even need that much. I just want his job. 10,000. Woohoo, jelly beans.
Bonus that I got in 24, and then there was my 24 bonus that I got in 25.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Kind of. For 2025, how much have you received in bonus money regardless of what year it's for?
117.
Last year, how much bonus money did you receive in that calendar year, regardless of what year it was paid for?
40 or 50. I'd have to go back and look.
What about you said the year before was your highest year of 180?
Correct.
Okay, so 2024, did your book of business go significantly down?
The company performance went down. It's not just solely based on like my book of business. That's part of it. It's a MIP program. They call it Management Incentive Program. It's based on your book of business. It's based on your project quality, how much revenue, how much money you made on the actual project. There's a lot of factors that go into it.
You would agree with me that you have been one of Plantensive's highest revenue generating employees / partners over the last few years.
One of them, yes.
I'm sorry, what?
One of them, yes.
You've received some awards recently, is that right?
Yes.
What are those awards?
I wouldn't say that I've received awards as much as they were recognitions in magazines.
Okay, what magazines?
Aspinair magazine wrote an article on me.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Aspinair
Okay, Aspinair, an article, all right.
wrote an article on me. I got an award from Food Logistics magazine.
For what?
20 up and coming rock stars in supply chain award.
And that's the one that you've recently advertised on your LinkedIn page. Is that right?
I think so.
Okay. What other magazines have written articles about you?
What's that other one? IGA Grocergram magazine has written an article on me. That's all I can recall.
Okay. And let's see. I know that we're going to have to stop at 12, so I'm just going to ask a few more questions and we'll pick back up after lunch. You've not filed 2024 taxes, correct?
Correct.
Your 2022 and 2023 taxes, those you've not filed any request to amend or correct them. Is that they're
Not that I'm aware of, yeah.
So you're not formed as a corporation in any capacity. Is that accurate? Like all of your K-1 money, any money from these businesses, it all flows through to you personally. Is that right?
Correct.
So all income and businesses as a self-employment would be reflected on those 2022 and 2023 tax returns?
Correct.
Okay. And you provided business assets, income, and you itemized the expenses?
I don't think we've itemized in years.
Okay. And then last few questions. I thought you testified earlier that you did not necessarily agree with the testimony of Ms. Wren yesterday as to the values. You thought they were a little low. Did I hear that correctly?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. Explain to me, and that will be my last question, Judge, before lunch. Explain to me why you believe those are a little low.
I just think the equipment is worth a little bit more than what they may have in that report.
And they got all of the equipment and all the information came from you, correct? That they used?
Correct.
Okay. I don't have any other questions before lunch, Judge, but I will after.
All right. Good place to start. Y'all want to come back about 5 after 1? Take a
Sure.
break till 1 o'clock, be back 5 after?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, great. Thank you. We'll be in recess till then.
Yo, this sucks.
And I guess.
I'm so mad.
Like we're remote, leave your stuff in here if you'd like.
Judge, I did not realize that MacBooks don't have a USB thing for the flash drive.
Uh-huh.
If I'm going to share my exhibits via Dropbox, would I use your email, Ms. Matthews' email, some other format?
Use Ms. Matthews
Okay,
and she'll figure out how to put it on the jump drive so I can know how to do it.
perfect. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So
No.
there he goes. He turned off the stream. I had to work a double today, guys. So while I was at work, he turned off the stream. And I recorded it for the next 8 hours. I just let it record because I was at work. And nothing, absolutely nothing. So there's nothing else. But I will keep checking my Peaches, my Georgia Peaches website, see how much money she got. I need to know. Like, I won't be able to live much longer until I know how much money she got from this man. Because we're learning today and yesterday how to go about this. I believe this will work equally well for a man as it will for a woman. Thanks for coming out. I really appreciate it. I will not be able to stream in 4 hours because I'm going to be asleep. You guys should get some sleep too. No, you should go watch somebody else. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for this special stream. I hope you guys have a great, great, great night. Bye, guys.
Got these life that goes digital feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle, she lights the way. Kathy's love.